All right, so that's live. We're cool. We're good. So I think this is episode like 44 or 45 at this point, and I guess we'll just kick it off with do you want to just introduce yourself, and then I guess like a little bit about how you got started with creating digital artwork.
Do you want the long story or the shorter story?
We'll hit the long story. Long story is good.
Okay. Long story. So I've been a fashion and advertising photographer for about 10 years now. Oh my god. And like during this period, like I got to work with some pretty good clients. Like I got to work with brands like Sephora, Lancome. I got to shoot celebrities like Billy Porter, got published in Vogue, so like it was quite the career. And like I still enjoy photography very, very much. But when COVID first happened, in Singapore, there was a lockdown and photo shoots were, naturally not allowed. So during then, I first spent a month just playing video games. And then I decided that, I should probably do something with my life a bit more productive. So I was like, okay, if I can't photograph like my real models, I'll just make my own. So that yeah, that was basically my thought process. I was like, I'm gonna make 3D virtual models. So literally that is all I did in the whole of year 2020. Like I just decided to pick up Blender. I went through so much YouTube tutorials, like more than I ever expected in my life. Um, and I just try to learn as much as I can. And yeah, so by August, I had like some virtual models, like they were not the standard I wanted them to be, but my husband was like, you're gonna post them. If you don't post them, you never ever post them. So I was like, fine, I'll post them up. So like that was when I kind of launched a virtual model agency of sorts. So like the idea was to then pitch them to clients, like brands, and ask them like, would you like to use these virtual models for your campaigns? But the next issue that came about was that a lot of clients could not understand how to use virtual models because they are so new, right? And a lot of them are very used to the traditional way of doing things where, on a photo shoot, if you want to put a earring on a model, you just go up and stick it in the ear.
Mhm.
But like, in 3D, everything has to be created. So like I would tell them like in 3D there's a lot of pros and cons. Like in the pros, it's like you can do anything. In the cons is everything has to be created.
Mhm.
So like but like with a lot of clients because they were also not very tech savvy, like it was very hard for them to understand. So I was still struggling with that last year when my husband told me about NFTs. And well, my husband, he likes the crypto world, so he would tell me a lot of things. And a lot of time I'm just like, oh, cool, okay. So I didn't listen to him. Only earlier this year, he told me about it again. I was like, fine, I'll go check it out. And I tend to have a very addictive personality. Once I start something, like that's all I do. That's why I can't play role playing games because they'll suck me in for hours and days. But yeah, so like when my husband told me the NFT world, I just got into it, and that's basically all I've been doing the past month. And yeah, so the virtual models are very fitting in it because I don't know, like I could really do anything I want with them. Things that I couldn't do with a real model, like gravity. Who needs that? Yeah, so that's it. My NFT story.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I guess for you, like when you were hopping into like the NFT space, like what were like your initial thoughts versus like what are your thoughts a little bit more now?
So my initial thoughts was first like everything was a bit scary because I think the crypto world generally is a bit scary, especially for creatives, for artists who are not into crypto. Like we are just ooh pretty stuff, like we just do what we do. We don't and we don't try and figure out all the technical side that comes with crypto. Like getting into crypto, like you have to figure out the exchanges, the MetaMask wallet. Like it's quite a few steps, and like I am so thankful. Like my husband was able to guide me along because I am pretty sure like halfway through somewhere there I would have like fallen off a cliff or something. So I think for me like it wasn't so bad because I had his guidance on how to get into the space without like sending my money off somewhere else. But like I have a friend who just joined and she was like, oh my god, the process was tediously hard to get through. So But like once you're in, I find that the community is very, very friendly. People are very helpful. Everybody, uh, like I said, it's a very non-toxic community. Like people want to help each other because the more NFT is a bigger deal, the more people pay attention to it, right?
Mhm.
And I think the biggest draw to it is being able to be paid for personal work, which I think like if you're a fine art artist is something that you're used to when you go to galleries, like your as your job as an artist, you're like, I paint, people pay me, but like as a commercial artist, commercial creative, right, graphic designers, concept artists, like we work for clients, like personal work isn't always paid. So I think one of the bigger draws, like, oh my god, I can do what I want and get paid for it, and the idea of somebody wanting to collect it is just whew, insane. So yeah.
Nice. And so I guess just to clarify, so you used to just do photography, or did you also do like editing, or like did you have to learn everything as far as what you're doing now in terms of like the blender and actual 3D models
So like 10 years ago, oh, sounds so long, but like
and
actually now 11 years, 11 years ago when I was in school in Polytechnic, they had some 3D modules. So I got to like test it out and like I really enjoyed it. I remember thinking like, oh, 3D is so fun. And I was like, I want to continue to do 3D. But photography came about and like it was instant gratification to getting what I want. So I was like, let's do that instead. Yeah, so but like so like I kind of remember like the basics of like 3D in the sense of like okay, there's modeling, there's texturing, there's rigging, like the very very base, but like everything else I've forgotten. And also we learned Maya. So like and I wasn't gonna pay for Maya right now. So now I had to learn Blender all from this beginning. Yeah.
nice, nice. I mean, that's really impressive because I have zero technical skill from all of that, and so to learn like from like basically 0 to 100, right, is pretty impressive. Because having a foundation from like 11 years ago is basically like not having a foundation at all. So it's definitely pretty impressive to what you can accomplish through a COVID lockdown.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing like being stuck at home all the time.
hmm Yeah, I was not productive. Yeah. I mean, I think as far as like Kobe goes on like my end, I think I'm closer with like my group of friends than I've ever been before. Just because like you like get home from work, like I was still working and everything, and so then like get home from work, a lot of people were either like working from home or just laid off, and so then it was like get home, play video games, and like hang out and like just spend time with my fiance and stuff and yada yada. And so it was like I think I'm closer with people than I've ever been before, but at the same time,
Mhm.
like it'd probably be pretty nice to be able to create art at the same time. I'm not sure if these
Yeah,
hands
yeah.
are made for that, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I remember thinking that like, my husband and I must really like each other considering that we still like each other after the COVID lockdown.
hmm hmm Yeah, yeah. I
Really
definitely
test the relationship.
exactly, exactly. If you can make it through COVID, you can make it through at least a while longer.
I think so. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I so in terms of like the modeling agency, has there been any like kind of reach outs, or is it still just so new for people that you think it's like hard to get adoption, or how's that going?
So I've been talking to clients and stuff. So far, like people are interested. It's just firstly they are also trying to understand it, and secondly, like when it comes to like, because a lot of my clients are fashion clients, right? And the issue is I know how to create models, but I don't actually know how to create clothes.
Mm,
Like I know how to use Marvelous Designer, but I am not a seamstress. So like when I put an outfit on my model in 3D, and it falls on her, if it's too big, I don't actually know where to cut it. So like like if outfit's too big on you, like if you're seamstress, you know where to cut it so that and where to sew it so like it fits better. I'm just like I just scale it down and then it doesn't fit properly. I'm just like this is hard.
yeah, yeah. It's like the layers of like what you have to learn to actually accomplish things. Like you don't know what you don't know. So then like once you get to like proficiency, then it's like shit, I gotta learn seamstress.
Yes, yes, like you don't think about that, right?
Mhm.
And then now you're just like, I want to make a great outfit, but like it's so hard. Like there's so many steps to it. Yeah, so eh, I mean I'm sure I could just like collaborate with some designer, fashion 3D person, but so far a lot of the clients are hesitant on the like um Singapore is a very forward thinking. Well, they think they're very forward looking, but they want to see someone else do it first. Yeah, so that's the issue. So like nobody's biting ish yet, but there's definitely a lot of good interest for it. So I think it's just a gradual thing.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where like you don't have to have a fashion show to be able to do this, right? Like you don't have to have XYZ person of, like if you wanted to show it across, I don't know, 40 different arrays of skin tones or body types, right? Like that's something that like you just snap and, like adjust and basically eventually are able to do. So I think there's like a strong need and like want for it. It's just, yeah. I mean, my fiance's mom is actually like a seamstress, and so like from talking to her, it's like, oh yeah, I just like put this together, and I'm like, she made she made me pants one time, and like I was like I don't even like it's so far out. The same as you doing 3D modeling is like her making pants to me, right? Like it's just another thing that I don't know anything about, and like if you gave me like a year and a half, I probably still wouldn't be able to do it. And so yeah, it's yeah, I think it would probably be helpful, like maybe to pair up with like smaller like self-made brands and then like see from like talking to them because they're most likely a seamstress, right? Like somebody who's actually making their own clothes, right? And then they're also probably going to be more likely to want to do a collaboration or something new and fresh, right?
Yeah, I think it's because like when I used to shoot with models, right? Like, and we go and like I shoot for brands. The brands bring the clothes, right? But like for now, when these brands come to me, they don't have a 3D version of their outfit. They don't know how to create a 3D version of their outfit, and it's a bit harder for me to create it for them too. Maybe oh yes, because I can sew, and so I don't know how it works. But also because like prints, like the graphic designs and the different prints they have is also on their end, and they know how they want the prints to look like on the outfit itself. So like, and it's like all copyrighted, like it's all their what's that word? Intellectual property, right? So they can't just send it out. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just having 5 NFTs in the meantime.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. I mean, I think having fun is like the big aspect. I think that you should really reach out to Steffi Fung. I will put you in touch with her.
Oh, I
I
know her. I know her. I
Okay,
know her. I
okay.
know her.
Because she seems to do everything from scratch, right? Like it's not even something
Yeah.
that dawned on me until talking to you. But like I see her like layering out the outfit and then like attaching it and stuff. And I'm like, as you're talking, I'm like, I guess that's like the seamstress aspect. Like I don't even know what I'm looking at half the time when I see people working in models and stuff. And so yeah, I think that that would be definitely solid. Yeah, I guess so. Pivoting more into like the NFT side of things with like the artwork, like how do you describe your art? And I guess like where does like the inspiration come from?
I think a strong inspiration comes from my photography and like my 10 years of doing photography. I think I kind of came out with a style that I like, which is it's always so hard to describe. It's just like I like females who look strong and have their nice colors. It's such a terrible description. But it's that yeah, it's mainly that. So like I think a lot of my style has come from the photography side. But when I do my NFTs, because I want my models to look as realistic as possible, I try to play with elements that are a bit more fantastical in the sense of like the earrings are floating, basically things that I cannot do with a real model. Because if I can, then I must just photograph her, right? Why do make such an effort to create a virtual one? So for me, it's like if I'm gonna do, especially personal work with my virtual models, I want to put them in scenarios that I cannot do in real life. Yeah, so it's for me, it's like playing between the line of realism and fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, I love like the artworks. I mean, I will say that. Do you know what tryptophobia is? It's like a fear of like holes. I
Oh,
don't really
yeah,
like
yeah,
have
yeah.
that, but have you ever seen like the images of that where like it's just like oh, and I like for some reason like it gives me. I love all the pieces besides the one that comes out of the ear. For some reason, the exiting the ear thing is just, like
Yeah.
it just kind of gives me like the heebie-jeebies a little bit. But
I
that's just
know,
like a
I
me.
know, I know.
That's just like more of a me thing.
It, I totally get it because like when I made it, I was like also like I think people it's a bit weird, isn't it? But like weird is cool. People like weird. I'll
Mhm.
post it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a me thing. It's definitely a me thing. It's just I can't help but comment.
No, no,
Um,
no, don't worry. My husband doesn't like that piece.
I like I'm amazed at like how realistic like the actual models end up looking. And then, like I mean, for me, like the piece that like caught my eye is like the blooming flower where it's just like, holy shit, like that's like a really, really cool concept because it's almost like, Japanese style tattoos, but like coming out of like a face, which is insane. Like it looks awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you. It was funny because like my original plan was for the flowers bloom and then go back. But then it was my first time using cloth simulations on Blender. So it just went poof and I was like, that works okay, cool. It
Happy
was a total
accidents.
accident.
Nice, nice. So as far as like the designs go, like do you have ideas for where you want to take the, say, like models, or do you have like new models in the works or like new designs for them?
I definitely have new models in the works. I have this freckled girl, and then I'm trying to get an Indian girl, and then after that, I think I don't know, like I want to play with a lot of different skin tones. I want to play with a lot of different like body shape, height, eye color, hair color, and it was just fun. Like I'll go on Pinterest and just search for face, and like there's so many cool faces, right? I just want to like get inspired by all of them. So like I often keep wanting to make more faces, but I keep trying to focus on the one I have so I can make them better first. Yeah, yeah. So but like there's a lot of plans to make more models. Yeah.
Mhm. And so then, is do you think that the majority or like all of your artwork is going to be in models, or do you have, ideas for like landscapes or other kind of concepts too?
And
Nah, no, just
like even in photography, I never liked doing landscapes because for me, I don't really have the eye for it. Like I don't have the eye for landscapes. I don't have the eye for products. I don't have the eye for basically I only have the eye for humans. Yeah. So like even when I did photography, I remember I'll go overseas. I'll be like, oh my god, the view is so pretty. I'm gonna take a photo, and I'll be like, yeah, no, never mind. Not taking the photo. I'll just enjoy the view. Like it never looks as good.
Mhm.
So for me, like I don't have the I think because of photography, I know I don't have the eye or the skill set for that. I'm happy to just I don't need to experiment in that way. Like I'll experiment in the other things that I know that have to do with humans because I feel like that's where my eye is stronger in. So I think my style will probably still stay with models anyway.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So for me, like, again, zero photography skills and like whatever, but like the only thing that I've seen that like really makes me like excited as far as photography goes, because obviously, like, landscapes are awesome, right? Like I always mess this up, Yosemite last year. I always confuse Yosemite and Yellowstone because I'm a little bit of a moron. But so I went to Yosemite, and like there's like the entrance into Yosemite, right? And it's like incredible. You come out of like a tunnel, and it's just this like wide expanse of like basically like mountains and then like a valley, and so it's just like really awe-inspiring because of like just the size. And
Mm.
like you take a picture, but like you never really like go back to it. But my buddy, uh I guess we'll say allegedly because it's illegal, took out his drone, and like the drone footage is really cool. Like drone
Oh yeah,
footage in like landscapes is like that next level, because like on the floor level it's like, this is cool, but like being able to like go up like a waterfall and stuff, like that's where it's like, oh
yeah,
shit,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that point of view was very different.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah, but I think it's different for me because I live in Singapore, and so like there isn't much of a landscape
mhm.
of anything. We're so small, right? It takes like an hour and a half from one end to the other. Like I've seen the whole country, okay? So
Uh,
like even if I wanted to be a landscape photographer, like I wouldn't be able to do it in Singapore.
mhm,
So maybe that's why also every time I travel, I'm just like, oh my god, you guys are so lucky. Like that is so nice. You guys get such good views and stuff. Yeah, so maybe that's that. But yeah, I would say like I'm sure a drone image of some of these landscapes are gorgeous.
mhm. Yeah. I'm I'm almost imagining, and like I just think it'd be cool, but like, okay, drone footage not really applicable to models, but what if you did like a Godzilla size model and then like actually had like a drone flying around it? That would be pretty cool. I'm just spitballing, but like that's just like
Well, it's not impossible. I mean, like the whole idea is to do what I can't do with a real model, right?
Mhm,
Yeah, yeah. I think my also issue is also because like I spent 2020, the whole 2020 just learning how to do a realistic model, right? But I don't actually know how to create the landscape around her. Like if you ask me to model something, I'll be like, I don't know how to model anything. Like because that like I never bothered trying to learn that. All I did is learn this and only this, right? So like sometimes I want to create scenes. I'm also like, fuck, I have a cube. It's a nice cube.
understandable, understandable.
Yeah. It's annoying.
I mean, it's better to have some skills than none, right? So, I'm in the no skill boat. So,
Hey, I'm sure you have something.
not in this world. Not in this world. I got
No.
speech and that's about it.
So
That's
how
like
do you
my
get into this world then?
uh so I like a lot of like hypey stuff, right? And so like I was helping a buddy try and create like a shoe store, like almost a boutique, right? And so
Ooh.
trying to like source different shoes and stuff. And so like I started working with like vendors and stuff like that for bulk sales. And so then started doing that. And then you have like cause dolls. I didn't grow up with any of this stuff. Like I had like one pair of shoes and they were like maybe Nike. You know what I mean? Like I didn't grow up with like Jordans. My parents wouldn't buy me Jordans. So like I didn't have kicks, right? Like I had like
Yeah.
whatever like looked good, and then I went through like skateboarding phase through like high school. I had long hair and everything, like the whole like Ryan Sheckler, yeah. So then it was like skateboarding shoes. Those are like $60, and then college I just wore whatever was like comfortable, somewhat stylish, but yeah, no Jordans. So then like the last year, 2 years, I started like really getting into shoes, cause dolls, all the different hype stuff, right? And so from that, NFTs are kind of like a natural kind of segue of like collection and stuff. And like I know people, then pack dropped, and like I've been like hooked ever since. And so yeah, so then I was like interviewing people from like the sneaker side of things, like collectors and everything else. And then like it just naturally segued into like artists. And so now more of my focus is just from like the art side of things, and I'm not helping with the boutique because I'm not sure how like an in-person store in COVID land is going to work. And so I don't want to like help finance it and yada yada. So that's my like transition story. And so yeah, it's I just really like the art side of things, but like I'm more into just whatever clicks for me. But like Murakami, Cause, Louis de Guzman, right? Like a lot of like those kinds of artists where like it's pop pop art, right? Kind of. I don't know. Yeah, but so it's yeah, that's basically my story. I will pivot back to you, which is like you recently posted a collaboration post, and I guess like what for you, like what goes into like choosing a person to collab with, and like what's like the handoff? Did she just make the asset and then you make it move, or like how do you go about
Oh,
that?
the one with Kelly.
Yes, yes.
Oh, it was actually done a long time ago. Like it was done last year during the COVID period. Like I was basically after I was doing my photography, I was doing something called living stills where I go into After Effects and I cut out my images and make them move.
Mm,
So that was something I was doing, and like when Kelly showed me her artwork, I was like, cool, let's do something, and I made it, and so that work was done last year. It wasn't made for the NFT world, but it's I think it would do well in the NFT world. So I haven't collabed with anybody yet for NFTs, but I assume the kind of people I want to collab with is someone who's mutually beneficial and nice.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, we both bring something about equal to the table. Yeah, okay, cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
What's your husband's take on like the space and like your hopping in now? Like, is he still happy about it, or is he kind of just like, yeah,
He's happy about it. Like he finds it very interesting because he's been so like every morning. When I say morning, it's about lunchtime because I wake up at noon. So like my morning, we will have our breakfast together, and that's usually where we talk a lot. And like he's been rambling to me about crypto for years. Like every morning, like he would be like, nah, 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 crypto, crypto. Like, but like it's always been like I'll listen, but like it's never been something I've taken much of an interest in. But he's found it so fascinating that the NFT world has gotten me so into the whole scene. And he's like, okay, like for him is being able to see what is it like for a normal non-crypto person and how it what it takes to get them to be sucked into the scene where they're now selling stuff with crypto for crypto, right? And then like after having the crypto, finding out more about the crypto that they have and whether they should keep it or whether they want to cash it out, like so like he's to him it's very interesting, like how artists are now more into crypto because of the NFT world. Yeah.
yeah, yeah? I think that's like as you're saying that, right? Like I think that's one of like the important things that's happening right now, where it's almost like a use case for crypto and stuff. I guess like, are you holding in crypto, or like if you make sales and stuff, do you like immediately go? I don't know. I don't actually know what the Singaporean currency is. Is it a?
Just cash out.
But is it? Never mind. Whatever. Not important. But
I'm
like I don't know. It whatever.
I'm still holding it for now.
Mhm.
I think for me, I'm looking at crypto as something that could very likely be part of our future
Mhm.
because I live in Singapore, and Singapore we are a very small country, but the one thing we have is the financial stability of sorts. Is like there is very little corruption here, and people come here to set up their businesses because like they know it's safer, right? So like the financial economy of Singapore is something the Singapore government never fucks with. And the fact that the Singapore banks are accepting like the idea of crypto, they are integrating with the idea of crypto means that the Singapore government says okay. And to me, for a government that is very forward thinking, but also very safe, I feel like it's a very good proof that they believe that crypto will be a future. And to me, when all this like Visa, when PayPal, when they are all these legitimate like players are coming to the scene, like it's very hard to say that no, crypto will just disappear one day. So I the way things are going, it to me it does seem like crypto would be part of future, and so it makes sense to hold, I guess. Yeah, so I guess I'm holding for now. I need to get myself the hardware wallet though, like yeah, like the what the
Trezor.
nano ledger.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I will get a nano ledger,
Mhm.
but like they only have the black in stock, and I'm a child, so like I haven't ordered yet because like colored ones are not in stock yet. So yeah,
I think we'll see like the beginnings. I don't know how much you follow like different artists, but like Pac was talking about like trying to partner up with like an actual hardware wallet to actually put out like a pack edition. And so I think that's gonna
cool.
be like one of like the next things where like there's gonna be limited edition wallets and stuff. I just
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that will be very expensive though.
I don't know. Maybe I mean maybe if you're buying like my imagination is like you open it or whatever, not open it, right? But you open the files on like the computer or whatever, and like it already has like a pack piece on it. Like that to me would be like really really cool. But I'm not
Yeah.
sure like the feasibility of that
You mean
because
like how like iTunes will have an album from some musician before that already?
yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm imagining. And then I mean, if you're buying like a pack piece with like the ledger or something like that, then what's the worth behind it, right? Because the file is obviously or whatever, like the token is actually worth something, right?
Yeah, that would be very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But
What?
right now they don't even have the colored version, so like like I don't want to buy a black one.
Mhm.
So boring.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely understand that. It's I don't know. I have one sitting in a box right now that has stuff on it, and it's just I don't even look at the thing. So I don't know. I'm boring. I think this is like the beginning of like my like art collection is like these two things, and then that one over there. Like I don't. I was trying not to have like a college frat apartment, and so this has been my attempt. My fiance kind of just like lets me do whatever, and yeah, now we have a Ninja Turtle in the living room. So like
Nice, nice,
yeah,
nice.
I'm curious like as far as your husband goes, right? Because like if he's been talking about it for like a really long time, then he's more of like an early adopter and stuff. Is he working in like a tangent space, or did he just kind of like stumble upon it and run with it?
He's not working in a crypto job right now, but like he's very involved in the like crypto world and stuff, and like he's mostly a VC into startups and stuff. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
I think he's more of a kind of person where he likes to see what are the things that would change the future of where the world's heading towards. Yeah, stuff like that.
Makes sense. Definitely makes sense. I guess so. For you, you're on Foundation. Do you use and like what's your takes on like the different marketplaces? Like, do you use other marketplaces? And yeah,
So like I'm on foundation right now. I recently got accepted on known origin. So like I mean like there is that tiered level of all the different platforms, right? Like Nifty and Supera, the ones that are the hardest to get in, and then like there is like known origin and then foundation where you hopefully get an invite of sorts. And then the OpenSea variable. So like I've been talking to a lot of different artists. Like a lot of artists, they prefer going to OpenSea because it's cheaper also, like the mint, and also like there's no gatekeeping. But I think the problem no like it's so funny because like you want no gatekeeping, but when there's no gatekeeping, there's no curation, and then like everybody's just posting up stuff up there. Um, One thing I do like about foundation is the UI. The UI is beautiful, and like as a creative, like it's hard not to be like, yeah, I really like how comfortable that makes me feel. Yeah, but like I haven't tried all the different platforms yet. I've heard of other platforms coming up. Like there's one called Portion.io. I just remember looking at your website and thinking like it's a very pretty website. Yeah, I'm superficial like that. So yeah, but like yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to really try out all the different platforms yet.
Mhm. Yeah, I think to like what you were just saying, I think that there's a lot of people coming into the space now that are like design first and like not that some of them have had issues in terms of like the actual utility of the site, right? Like in terms of search function or follow function or things like that. But I think that yes, the step one for a lot of these companies right now is to come in with like a beautiful site and then like work on like the actual UI
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
second,
Because I
which
mean, like, it is for artists, right?
mhm,
Like, so we are all superficial, creative, visual people who are like, it's not pretty enough.
mhm. Yeah, and I mean, you don't want to like I'm imagining somebody trying to put out like an old school like Craigslist type of site and just being, absolutely roasted. It's not going to work. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think that's the problem about like I haven't used OpenSea, but like I've heard people say like the UI is pretty difficult. It gets a bit messy, like you don't really know where to look.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think as creatives, especially because we're putting our art out there, we kind of want the art to be the main thing to be seen. Yeah, so I think that's one thing that Foundation does well in the well, because like if you upload a lot of Foundation, and you click on it, the first preview is very small. I don't know why they make the preview so small. Um, yeah, basically I'm complaining about every site right now. This is terrible.
I mean, it's like how many sites truly are perfect, right? It's one of those things. Twitter has been around for I don't know, I forget what Jack had tweeted, but 13 years or something like that, and you still can't
Mhm.
edit a tweet. This is like the beginning of me using Twitter, but I'm like, why can't you edit a tweet? Like what? Like it's not even that hard. Like just
Yeah,
show the edit history. If you think somebody's gonna
exactly.
like
Just show the
gaslight it,
edit history.
I don't understand. But yeah, like everything has some issues. I I wanted to ask you about this, and it's in your headline for Twitter and stuff, like the Forbes 30 under 30. What did you win? How did you win it? Like, you want to talk about it a little bit because that's obviously probably like a huge deal, right?
Yeah, so like in 2019, my husband nominated me. So like during then, like he nominated me for the Under the Arts in Asia, and I think basically we used the fact that I was a guest photographer for Asia's Next Top Model, that I did tutorials with f stoppers. Yeah, just enough like accolades of sorts, and then he just sent it in, and I got in. So like it was cool, but like the problem was that when I got into Forbes 30 under 30, COVID hit, so like COVID stole my thunder.
Goddamn COVID.
Yeah, so like I actually never got anything out of it. Like I think like the biggest beneficial part about Forbes 30 under 30 is when you win it, you get to go to this event, and in that event you get to meet all the other winners. And then you get to really network with like actual like, oh my god, like you're good at something, you're good at something, you're good at something, right? And then you get to really have like a good networking session. But like, COVID, so that happened. That nothing happened. Nothing happened. Basically, yeah, nothing happened. It was very annoying.
So, as far as like your work goes and everything, right? Like, I mean, I'm assuming Singapore is probably doing a little bit better than well, I'm in New York, but the U.S., right? The U.S. has had kind of we have some unique issues, and so it's not been the best show. And so I assume that you guys are kind of farther along in terms of like reopening and stuff to that extent from what I've heard. And so like what's the take moving forward in obviously it's not like a pure post COVID world, but like a safe COVID safe world, right? Like are you just gonna like hop back into photography or are you gonna try and like split time with both or like what's the thought process?
So like Singapore is doing really really well. We average between 0 to 1 case a week or so. So like we're doing like it's good. So like I still have photography jobs. So like if they pay me well enough, I go and do it. And then if they don't pay me well enough, I'll be like, nah, I'll do NFTs. So like it's a nice balance now. Like I get to like because I still enjoy photography, right? Like I still want to do it. So I it's nice. They like if I get a commercial job, they pay me pretty okay. Like it's not bad money. So like I go there, shoot for a day, and then like I refuse to do the editing so that like my day ends and then the photos get sent to somewhere else, and then I can continue doing my NFT stuff. So I think it'll be a very nice balance in the future, like moving forward this way. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely like a goal that like a lot of people have at this point, right? Is like being able to work commercial, right? If that's the right word for other people, but like, work commercial when they want to, or, to get a nice bonus, right? And then be able to do NFTs for like the side. I guess like how, because obviously you're limited in terms of what you can put out in terms of artwork, right? So then like how long are you spending like from like a per piece standpoint, or like if say you wanted to put out like a series, like how long do you think that would take?
So it depends. Like if it's the first series of a new model, then like naturally then you have to add in the time of creating the model, right? Like the creating of the model can take up to like 1 week, 2 weeks, depending how fussy I get on like depending like on stuff like hair. Oh my god, hair is the worst thing ever. Uh, like I wish all my models just shouldn't have hair. But like so like the creation of models itself to take a while, but like then the creation of the art pieces, like I would say it takes a couple of days per piece. So it really depends also like on the computer, like how fast can you render? Because I somehow decided that I want to do animations instead of stills, and now like rendering takes forever, and like I have to go for a render farm and all that. So I don't know. It depends. Like some stuff renders a bit faster, some stuff takes a bit longer to render. Couple of days to a week ish, depending on the idea too, I guess. Like how long it takes for me to come up with an idea.
Mm.
But I think that's also the issue why like I want to try so many platforms, but like I'm so hesitant to on where I should put my stuff just because every piece is a new piece of art. Like I don't have backlog, so every piece I'm just like, okay, let's see where should I put it now? Like where would I benefit the most from putting it there? So yeah, that's fun. It's I've never spent so much time just like coming up with personal work. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the happy side of COVID, right? It was like a lot of people got time to like focus on like random or new or old things that like they passion projects, right? And
Mm-mm.
so yeah, I guess like in terms of your models and stuff, and then I guess maybe separately, like how do you design the model? Like how do you decide like what the hair is going to be, what the skin tone is going to be, the eyebrows, the lips? Like is it just like you frame of ref? I guess like what's that process?
So firstly, I think I will like find a few like I'll go on Pinterest and look for faces I like, and then I'll save them, and then like I will have like a few faces that I'll be like, okay, this is the base. I want to kind of mix these together, and then I'll just start creating, and yeah, I just choose whichever features I think would look nice on her, and then after that, after I meshed it in the face, I'll be like, okay, let's fit it nice. This is such a terrible description. I just play with the face till it looks nice.
Nice, nice. I mean, I think that's that's how things work, right? Like it's minor tweaks, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's I think description is like definitely something that's like difficult, right? But it's just one of those things where, yeah, I mean, fine tweaking until you sit there and like something clicks, or you just go, all right, I can't do this anymore. That
Basically, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But it's funny because like people like they'll tell me like, oh, you should record your process. And I'm like, it's too embarrassing because I make so many changes. Like I'll start out with something, and by the time the end product is like, you'll be like, but why do you even make a mood board if like your end product's nowhere near? So I'm like it's so much easier when like I'm not pressured to like stay to something. I just keep going and do whatever I want. Yeah, and then I give stuff to the models that like stuff I want, like platinum blonde hair. Like I'm like, oh, I always wanted platinum blonde hair, but since I can't, I'll just give it to my model, stuff like that. Like, or like freckles. I think freckles are cute. I'll give freckles to my models. Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I I mean, I think the process could be good, right? Like even if it's not like a linear process that you think other people would want to see. Like I still think that like let's say you start with like person A and it turns completely into person B, right? Like just like a completely different start to finish.
More
That
like person Z.
yes, yes. Like I still think that that's like helpful, right? Like it's one of those things where it's you you showing that like because at this point, I mean, realistically, you have like a decent amount of clout, right? Like you have 700 high 700, 762 right now on foundation, right? And then like a couple of sales, 3,000 followers on it on Twitter. And so, I mean, personally, like I think that like having other content is obviously good, but at the same time, like showing like what got you to the dance in terms of like your pieces and stuff. Like to you, you're like, oh, I'm all over the place, and like somebody else, they're like, oh, like that's okay. Like if somebody else works that way, like it. I think that would be like one of the strengths of it, right?
Yeah, I know. I know. I just I worry like like sometimes you listen to someone tell a story and they go one big round and then end up here, like but it's like sometimes I'm just like don't they just want to hear this, But like everything I do is also like one big round to get there. So I'm just like people will be watching and be like, I thought you wanted to do that. That's not what you wanted. That's not what you showed us. Like I do post some of my behind the scenes and my process work up on like Twitter, right? And then like there was one I posted it up, and then like 3 hours later, while I was working on it, it was totally different. I was like, oh no, I feel a bit pressured. Like, should I still try and connect it to the piece I put up on Twitter? Like, so it messes with me a bit. Like, yeah, I know I probably should overthink it, but
Eh,
we all overthink everything.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the world of social media, right? Is like, do I send this? Do I not send this? I like to tweet and forget, and maybe that's not the best thing because I think I had a buddy. I used to have a workout thing here. It now gets moved every single podcast, and so for the people that have seen this episode, whatever longer term, that's where the exercise machine went. It's literally sitting in my hallway.
No
Not
more.
Yeah, no, it's right next to me. I move it in and out. It's just off screen, but apparently that would look better. And then yeah, I mean, I have my co-host that sleeps on the couch, and so yeah, that's why we don't have a background. But I'm trying to be a little more like direct with stuff, right? Like or a little more planned, and I think that that can like be helpful. But for like an artist, like you I don't want to like generalize artists, right? But like I feel like for like an artist to have like a creative path, like person A turning into like person Z, like that's something that's like cool, right? Like somebody can see like that whole like step by step process, and would probably be helpful.
Yeah, I think it's also the problem. Like if I know it's being recorded, I feel so pressured to like stop doing wrong mistakes. Instead, like I'll do something, I'll be like, nah, like Control Z, Control Z. And I'll do something, nah, like Control Z. And I'll be like, oh my god, all they are gonna watch is me doing undoing stuff. Yeah, it's like every stroke, you're just like, is it beautiful? Is it beautiful? Like they're watching right now. Yeah, it's hard. But fine, I'll probably try. I'll try one day.
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good. I guess so. Have you also started to like collect? Do you have any pieces that you like or that you would like to collect?
I've seen a lot of pieces I like, but I haven't collected yet. Mainly because like I'm a creative and I'm not very good with money. So I'm like, I need to set goals. I need to hit a certain number. And then when I hit that certain number, this amount goes into the hardware wallet. And then from that amount, a percentage I can say, okay, this percentage I can like spend. Like if I don't have my numbered goals, I'll be just like, I'll buy everything. So for now I haven't hit my numbered goal yet, so not yet. I haven't collected yet. And it's hard because like I do see work I like, but like no.
Understandable. I'm impulsive, and yeah, so I've scooped a couple of pieces where I'm like, oh man, I just spent. I'm like to my fiance, I'm like, I just spent like half an Ethereum, and she's like, huh? How much is that now? And I'm like, it's a bit, it's a bit. I don't want to talk about it, like, and so yeah, so I'm
It's funny because it's like in-game currency, right? So you don't convert it in your head. You're just like, it's only half a Ethereum.
yeah, yeah. I yeah, it's difficult. I am trying to like hold that back a little bit. I have a small collection, but I'm happy with it, and we have to try and buy a house this year. Hopefully is the hope, but we shall see. And so that's basically like I need to stop spending like an idiot. And so not that art is whatever, just I don't
I get it.
basically
I
yes,
get
you
it.
can't be
Yeah,
spending
yeah,
tomorrow's
yeah,
money kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah. I get it. I get it. That's
Ha-
why I need my numbers.
yeah, yeah. Does your husband also collect, or like was he just kind of like watching?
My
Really,
husband's a non-art person. He's a
really?
total non-creative. He's the person who knows where the money is in the family, and I bring joy.
Hmm. Nice, nice. I mean, because if he brought you into the space, though, like, I mean, that would have been like some opportunity, right? Like the past. I mean, you're in it for what how long exactly are you in the, I guess, NFT space?
NFT. 1 month. I joined in mid and Feb. Yeah, about a month. But my husband, he's very not creative. He's not. He's a very minimalistic person. So like he doesn't even collect in real life anything.
Understandable.
So I guess the personality flows along into the NFT world. Like he doesn't collect anything in the real world. I guess he doesn't collect anything in the digital world either too.
Mhm. Yeah, I have the exact opposite. I have too much stuff, which you can see over there, and yeah, I like things, and I cannot help
I like
myself.
things too. I'm a hoarder. I hoard. I have a trophy from when I was like 8 years old when I won third place for high jump in school. Because
Nice.
I like it. It's a trophy. Yeah, so I'm a hoarder.
Same, same. Yeah. So I guess like more about like you. Do you have like personal hobbies that you also find roll over into the space, or like for inspiration and stuff, or how does that go?
Uh, well, not really. I mean, like photography wise, I like a lot of the skills were very translatable, but I guess I wouldn't call it a hobby because it was a career. Other than that, right now I have a gym. Like my friends and I, we have a gym, and also I've been doing gardening like an old lady. It's like I'm preparing for my retirement life. Just gardening like but I think it's fun because like I only started gardening like about 2 months ago um because my friend gave me a plant and it didn't die so I was like fuck yeah it didn't die and like she gave me a mint so like I was able to make a lot of mint tea out of it. I was like it didn't die and I had a lot of usage out of it so I was like I am gonna do gardening and the addictive personality right so now I have so many plants but they're all edible so they're all practical plants. I'll go there, I'll go outside to my balcony, I'll pet my plants, I'll water them, pet them, and tell them grow faster so I can eat you, okay? But it's nice because like I like the fact that my gardening is so separate from the art world because it's so separate from the NFT world, right? So like sometimes when I'm like, oh my god, why is nobody buying my shit? You know, like my stuff is pretty, please buy. And then like I'll be like stressing over it, right? I'll be like, I am going to go garden. So I go to my garden, I'll water my plants, you know, like check for bugs, you know, like and it's a total different space and like it's outdoor. So like it's like, you know, fresh air, wind. So like it's therapeutic, I guess, in a very stressful NFT life way. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I think I think there's definitely some kind of parallel, and I'm sure this is already being studied because there's no way it's gone unnoticed. But like, if you think about it, I have a lot of friends like in New York at least that all got into plants, right? Like all of them got into plants. Okay, like the amount of shrubbery that I have seen at my friends' places and stuff is like insane. Like I'm talking dozens and dozens of plants. Every one of my friends, like that's like the new, like Instagram post, like the new hobby. And so I think that there's like a certain aspect of like the beauty of plants and like, like the wanting to be outside, but then also like the rise of NFTs and like the art scene, right? Like digitally, right? That I think probably came about because of COVID, right? Like you're stuck inside, you want to look at, like you're saying, right? Like pretty things. And so then like people are making pretty things. So now like they get like more inherent value because of that, right? Like the same as the
Oh
plants. Like
yeah,
I have friends spending like 5 G's on a plant and I'm like, what the, like, give me some of that money. Like what? Like 5 G's on a plant? Like that's a shrub, dude. Like, but like that's, I think that there's definitely some kind of parallels from COVID to causing more appreciation from like art.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I think with the plant side also like it's the one thing people could control sort of like I can see you grow, you know, like I water you and like this is something in my control because the world out there is like crazy, you know.
Mhm.
Uh so it's like sometimes when I mint something and like nobody's buying, I'll go to my plants, I'm like, at least you're growing, you know. Like but yeah, like COVID definitely changed the world hugely. Like the speed of how everybody had to adapt to the digital space was it was so forced, but like people adapted. Like nowadays, if you talk about work from home, it's a norm, right? But like before COVID, you'd be like work from home, like no, you gotta meet up, and so you can have your discussions and stuff. So I don't know. It's definitely interesting to see how fast, how big a push COVID has done for the technological advancements of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's definitely that. I don't know. I don't want to work back in an office. Like I have no it. Like I don't like. I don't want to. I like being off. You know what I mean? Like you're on at work and like you have to be like,
yeah,
hey, how's
yeah,
it going? Like I want to like sit there and like have nobody listening and just be like, this sucks. Like this sucks, but I'm gonna do it. Like and just like say not happy thoughts and like just grind through work, right? Like really not having like that with like Nifty to be perfectly honest, but like I'm just like I used to work in digital advertising, and so that was like a lot more like grind and excel and just like a lot of just like headbutting
yeah,
against like
yeah,
time,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it would be a lot happier like at my own desk. Like I hate sitting at the desk all day, so like you have the plants, I walk my dog, and like that's like nice
Mm.
because now it's starting to get warm and that gets me like forced outside. But yeah, I do not want to work back in an office. That is not no no.
That was like it's funny because Singapore just announced that like because like I think Singapore for a long time Singapore was having like a good percentage where like of people only a small ratio is allowed to go back to the office every day, right? But like recently because our cases have been dropping quite low, they were like, okay, we're gonna increase the percentage. It's like everybody's like, no, I don't want to go back to the office. Just keep it low, keep it low. Yeah, it's yeah, nobody wants to go back to the office.
Yeah, yeah. The I don't know. I think that's going to be like the big change as far as like COVID, but also like cryptocurrency, right? Like cryptocurrency is inherently decentralized, right? So you work on projects, and you could be doing bounties or like actually working like just in tangent with somebody, but like they could be in Singapore and I could be in New York, and like that's totally you don't even notice, right? Like obviously the
Yeah,
time zone's a
yeah,
little bit, but okay, you handle this, I handle that, and yada yada. But it's
yeah.
yeah, I think it's a great solution for yeah, most things. Most things.
Yeah, and when you talk to people about like the future, right? Like you tell people like, oh, let's talk about VR, let's talk about AR, let's talk about the metaverse, right? And then people are just like, oh, not so soon, like 5 years, maybe 10 years, like not anytime soon. But you really think about it, right? Especially like for like people like us, like our friends are virtual, like
Mhm.
like I have a bunch of Twitter friends that like I know them by their username, I don't know them by their name, right? But I they're friends, virtual friends. So my friends are now virtual. My currency is now virtual. My art is also virtual. So like, how big is it a leap to go into the virtual land, and that's where we're gonna spend most of our time, right? But there are people who have trouble with their phones and basic technology, so they're like, yeah, far away. Yeah, but I really don't think it's that far.
Mm. Yeah, I think it like an interesting thought process in terms of that, right? Like you have models, right? Like you have like physical characters basically, and so like I'm almost imagining you like getting into like a Westworld type of like scenario. I don't know if you watch Westworld, but yeah, like
Oh yeah, it was recorded in Singapore. The last season was filmed in Singapore.
the season 2 or season 3. I kind of gave up after season 2.
The last one.
Okay. Yeah, season 1 was like so amazing, and then season 2 got a lot of tangents, and it was like a lot to follow, and I like to like watch sporadically, and I just couldn't keep up with it. And I
Oh
don't know.
yeah, yeah. Like if you don't watch it all at one go, like it's hard to remember certain things.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I get it. I get it. Unlike me, I binge watch everything all at one go.
Nice, nice. I guess so. So to your artwork and stuff, right? Like, do you feel like there's been like stylistic changes that have happened, and do you think that there's going to be like more moving forward, or it's just going to kind of organically happen?
I think for me right now, I'm also trying to think. Like the difference is I've always worked with clients, right? And even when I did my personal work in fashion photography, it was in the mindset of I want to do something that clients would like and then hire me for, right? So like it's always been clients in mind. So like I've my I would say like a lot of my fashion photography work has been just pretty pictures. Like they weren't like full of meaning or anything. They're just like, oh my god, look at the outfit. She's so pretty. The outfit looks pretty. The picture looks pretty. Good job. But like now that I'm doing NFTs, I'm doing real personal work, and like there's no client, and like these are like this is the art world, a world that I've never really been a part of. Like people are like, okay, what's the story? Like what's the emotions behind it? Why do you do this? Half the time I'm just like I don't know, because it's pretty. So like for me, it's just like now I want to give everything a bit more thought on why I want to do certain things. So we'll see how that changes my art. Like I don't know.
Do you think like you'll plan to like draw inspiration from different things? Like, I mean, if you watch like a lot of TV shows, like I'm almost imagining you kind of like pulling characters out of stuff, or like storylines, or inspiration
Oh
overall.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Like so like when COVID first happened and I spent the one whole month just playing video games, I was like, it's not that I'm wasting my time. I'm appreciating other creatives' works.
Mm.
Like so, like I get to understand how they do certain things and like enjoy the visual arts they put into the art piece of that game. Yeah, so something along those lines, I guess. Like every time I watch a show, I'm like, I am not slacking. I am engaging my creative brain.
Nice. It works.
Yeah, but I believe it. I believe that like whatever you watch, the subconscious catches at least something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get so to like your first two models, like is there like a base that you kind of like started from, or like anything in terms of inspiration or thoughts that you're trying to invoke with them, or what?
Okay, so like the first two models are actually not my first model. My first model is this girl Kate, Kade. So like when I first created her in my mindset, I was thinking, I'm Asian. I'm gonna create an Asian girl. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna create this Asian girl. But funnily, like I was following a lot of like sculpting books, anatomy books, to like cause you need to know how the facial structure is like before you can create a realistic face, right? And because all these books were based on Caucasian faces, she turned out a bit mixed, and I was like, okay, I can do with mixed. So that was how Kate was done. Yeah, and then like for Lilium, I was like, okay, I wanted to try someone dark skin, and that turned out nicely. And then like then lastly, I did Luna, the Asian girl, because I was like, I need to do a proper Asian, because Asian. So like I came out of her. Yeah, but like my thought process, honestly, I don't really have much of a thought process. I'm just like I do what I want to do.
That's good. That's good. I mean, what is it? Looks he do, thinks he do. It's basically just doing what you want. It's it's a John Jones from UFC has a his martial arts style is looksy do, and that's basically like he just sees somebody do it, he does it.
And then he
That's it.
does it.
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you, just make what you want, right?
yeah. And I wish I was better with words so I can like bullshit and make a nice story about it.
Nah.
but like I'm not good with words, so just I just do what I like.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a I'm not great with words either, but I think that there's like an aspect of simplicity to that a lot of people can kind of focus on, right? Like instead of trying to come up with some like grandiose reason or rationale or anything, like it's just like I like it, therefore I do it. It's done, right? Like, and that's good, right? I don't know. That's my personal take.
Yeah, I agree because I'm doing that.
Perfect, perfect. I guess to close out, we just did like an hour. I like to ask like two questions. One is, if you're in my shoes, what question would you ask yourself?
if oh that's a hard one. I don't know. Oh my gosh, I've never had to interview me. Uh, well, I mean, like the easy one that interviewers always love to ask is like, what's the advice you have for people starting out, right? So I guess I can do that one. That was easy. Just do it. Like stop thinking, just do it. I find that a lot of creatives we have a lot of fear of putting ourselves out there. And like I think that this is something I learned in the photography world. Is like you can be so good at your art, but if nobody knows you exist, it doesn't mean shit. Like you have to put yourself out there. You have to really work to get known. And yes, there are the artists out there who are like the special ones where like they do their art and then they're discovered, right? But like like hope is not a strategy. Yeah, you can't just go around sitting around hoping for that. So like your future is your own. Like just do it. Just like you want to learn blender, just do it. Just everything you can learn it online nowadays. Like there's so much information out there. Yeah, and like when it comes to speaking to people, like I know creatives are like we are all very we are so awkward and antisocial, creatures. So like the one thing that my husband actually told me is to remember that everybody you speak to, they eat also, they also sleep, they're all humans and they also shit. And somehow remembering that they also shit makes it easier. So there's that. Remember that they shit too.
It's good. It's definitely good advice. I think it's better than imagine somebody else naked. Everybody shits is
Yeah,
probably a better one.
yeah. Everybody shits.
Yeah, I guess to the aspect that you were talking about in terms of like putting yourself out there and stuff. I had a really good interview with it's episode 31. I had to check the number. This is not off the top of my head. I don't want people to think I
Wow,
have a
wow.
great memory, but I looked it up, and it is this guy
You,
Derek.
right before this, you were like, "Is episode 44 or 45?"
Yes, yes. I have a terrible memory, but Derek, aka Squanch, he works with like YouTube artists to like really get them noticed and stuff. And to your point of some people just get noticed, I think that to be honest, like the day of NFT artists just exploding is going to be extremely few and far between. It's not that nobody will, right? Like it's not that nobody with a poor, not poor, but lacking social media will blow up. But like in this day and age, you basically have to do social media and like
Yeah,
try and hit all different, people
yeah,
across all
yeah,
different platforms. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Like people win the lottery, but don't bank on your life hoping to win the lottery.
exactly, exactly. You can't just keep your head down and work really, really hard and just expect things to happen. It's just sadly not the case. You would hope it to be, right? Like that would be the fair way to do it is whoever put in the most hours, but you have to do the socials. And so yeah,
Yeah.
he had some good breakdown with that. The last question, which is also a fun question, is what do you think your purpose is in life?
Oh my god. To create pretty pictures. Like it was. I remember like I remember I used to think to myself like fuck my like when I was doing fashion photography as a main thing, right? Like I was like there are people who the doctors, they save lives, and like here I am like I just create pretty pictures, but like one day somebody was like, you bring beauty into the world, and I'm like, then all right, I'll take that, like I'll just create pretty things, and like if one day it makes someone feel a little better because they see something that they like, that, yeah,
It's worthy. It's worthy, right? I think if this continues, it's gonna definitely be solidified. But like this feels like the second, like Renaissance time period of appreciation of art, right? Like it at
mm-hmm.
least feels like the beginning. It's hard to meta analyze like what you're actually going through, but just like the explosion that art is having and people getting paid, it's definitely something that I've spoken to like a lot. So I'm not gonna like just sound like a broken record, but it definitely feels like the second renaissance of painters and artists and everything, and so it's an exciting time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hope it lasts long.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope it lasts long.
yeah, same here. All right, well, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun, and you make pretty pictures, so that's goal accomplished.
Pretty pictures. Yes. Okay.
All right,
Thank you so much.
no problem. Thank you for the time. Peace.
You too.